hallway was a catwalk. Both catwalks ran north, parallel with the tracks of the huge ladles moving slowly along beneath them. Each ladle brimmed with nearly 200 tons of molten steel heading toward the vacuum degassers on the far side of the building. In the middle of the steel control room door stood a small, face-size observation window. "I'm in position," Jack whispered. "Copy," Clark said as a siren wailed overhead. Jack stepped over to the door's observation window. He scanned the room. In front of the big picture windows overlooking the mill floor, 5 young South Korean technicians sat at their monitors chatting excitedly, pointing at virtual gauges on their screens. Scanning right, Jack saw Park, the oldest Korean in the room, standing in the corner, round and silver-haired beneath his safety helmet. Jack recognized Park from his file photo. He was the steel firm's CEO and biggest shareholder, and a man in serious trouble with Japan's largest Yakuza syndicate, the Yamaguchi-gumi. Their source inside the syndicate said Park was reaching out to Van Delden for protection tonight. Jack leaned over to see who Park was talking with, and there he was. The giant Dutchman towered over the diminutive Korean, his long granite face focused on Park in earnest discussion. The Dutchman's gaze shifted briefly toward the window. His eyes locked with Jack's. Shit! In the blink of an eye, Van Delden's big Glock 17 was in his hand. Jack ducked as the barrel sparked. The door glass shattered just above his head. "Found him," Jack barked in his comms as he crouched low and pressed hard against the heavy steel door. He felt more rounds thud against the metal, like someone was pounding the door with their fists. "Sit tight," Clark said. "We're on our way. 5 mics max." "Copy that." More bullets crashed into the door near Jack's ear. "Don't hurt him, Jack." "Copy that." Whoomp! The big man slammed into the door. The steel cracked against Jack's skull and knocked him back a little. But Jack was wedged hard against it. The door only budged open an inch. He slammed it back shut with his shoulder. Jack heard the last shards of the shattered window glass breaking above him. He glanced up just in time to see the black steel slide of the big Glock wedge through it, then angle down, thick fingers wrapped around the hilt. The Glock fired 3 ear-splitting shots that chinged the grated steel floor near Jack's feet before Jack could react. Jack turned and grabbed the hot slide with his left hand and twisted it upward, just as Van Delden fired another shot into the steel rafters overhead. The hot barrel burned Jack's hand as he squeezed, but he caused the last shot to fail because the slide couldn't fully eject the brass. With his left hand still gripped around the Glock, Jack pulled his SIG P229 Legion Compact SAO with his right hand and smashed the steel butt against the Dutchman's thick wrist, breaking it with a sickening crack. The massive paw dropped the Glock and yanked back through the shattered glass. Jack kicked the Dutchman's gun over the edge. "Status?" Clark asked. "Still got eyes on?" "He ain't going nowhere." Whoomp! Van Delden crashed against the door again before Jack could brace himself. The steel door blew open, tossing Jack backward, dropping him to the grated landing. Jack raised his weapon to put a bullet in the Dutchman's knee, but the man's giant steel-toed boot kicked the gun out of Jack's hand and sent the SIG sailing over the edge, clattering onto the cement floor far below. Jack's hand exploded in pain, as if it had been smashed with a sledgehammer. His momentary focus on his aching hand cost him dearly, as the same big boot raised high and smashed down into Jack's gut, knocking the wind out of him. Jack gasped for air and clutched at his belly as the boot raised up a third time, aimed squarely at his skull. Jack rolled away at the last second, the sole of the massive boot clanging against the steel near his ear. Jack rolled again just as the Dutchman launched a kick at his skull and missed. Van Delden lunged forward for a final, fatal steel-toed shot to Jack's temple, not seeing Jack's 3-inch Kershaw spring-assisted blade until it plunged into his inner thigh. Van Delden screamed and grabbed his leg to staunch the blood. He stumbled away past Jack before the campus operative could strike him again, limping west along the walkway as Jack struggled to stand. "Jack, we're close. Stay put," Clark ordered. Jack shook the pain out of his hand as he grabbed a couple of deep breaths, his stomach aching like he'd been gut-shot. "Jack, you copy?" Jack glanced up just in time to see Van Delden turn the corner north, heading away from the pulpit. "Copy," was all Jack said. He sure as hell wasn't staying put. He had his orders. Alive, not dead. But Jack knew there was a long, nasty road of hurt.